School year has just begun, an exciting and maybe stressful time for students. But what about parents? Well, the U.S. Surgeon General just released a report on parents under pressure, an advisory on the mental health and well-being of parents. Well, Dr. Janine Hubbard joins us live now to chat more about parental stress. Hi, Dr. Janine.
Hi, thanks so much for having me and covering this topic.
A very interesting topic, and one I think that may get overlooked, especially the beginning of a school year when our focus are all on our kids and our students. So first of all, are you surprised that the U.S. Surgeon General felt the need to even issue this report?
Well, yes and no, because I think like a lot of people, my initial reaction was, well, yeah, we know parenting is stressful. But that's the problem, is there is stress and then there is debilitating levels of stress and mental health issues that surprisingly and alarmingly high percentage of parents are reporting. And unfortunately, there is that tendency for most of us to kind of dismiss it, go, you know, oh, that's fine, that's normal, which also then makes it really hard for a lot of parents to reach out and say, no, no, you don't get it. I am really struggling. So I'm delighted that this report came out. It is really highlighting that maybe this is something we need to be paying a lot more attention to.
And what are some of the reasons? I mean, we know parenting is stressful, but what are some of the reasons that parents are feeling stressed? What were some of the big ticket items that were in this report?
Well, certainly we know financial stress. It's always a stress this time of year on parents, but because we know just the overall increases in costs, that's keeping people up at night. Social comparison. In some ways, we do this to ourselves. There's this belief of, you know, I have to have the perfect first day of school picture and, you know, the perfectly carved lunch with the animal creatures. And listen, being kinder to ourselves, ignore the mommy bloggers, ignore the people who perhaps had the time to come up with the perfect pictures. I want the first day of school picture where the kid is, you know, wearing something. I don't care if it matches. Hopefully it's clean. Maybe their hair is brushed. Maybe they're still holding on to the, you know, granola bar that they managed to hold on to for breakfast. That's real. That's parenting. And we need to be embracing so much more of that. And for parents, acknowledging that yes, some stress is helpful, but if it's going beyond, and literally people were reporting they were up at night feeling like, I don't think I can get through another day, that's when it's a really big red flag to reach out, because we also know parents will do anything for their kids, but sometimes putting on the air mask yourself first and booking a time for self-care or some therapy or some just even a coffee hour with a friend, putting yourself first is going to produce long-term benefits for your kids.
That sort of segues right into our last question. That, you know, what is the impact on our kids? We know that they can kind of see and hear a lot more than they let on to. So what can this, or like, what is the impact and what can we then do to kind of mitigate that?
Sure. Well, at its most extreme, we have what are called ACEs, or adverse childhood experiences. So that's things like having really unwell parents, things like having a parent with a mental illness, separation, divorce, witnessing verbal abuse. All of those are things that actually we have research that shows those produce long-term mental and physical impacts on those kids when they're adults. So we know at its extreme why it's so important to be treating these. But even on the milder end, remember that a kid can't learn how to self-regulate. They can't learn how to problem solve. They can't learn how to cope with disappointment if the adults in the room around them aren't modeling that for them. A kid can't self-regulate if the grown-ups in the room aren't able to demonstrate that and help them learn that skill. So again, taking care of yourself, getting in a much better place, because we do know that kids do pick up on all of those things, but also how you respond. If you're not in a good place, it's going to continue to foster and perhaps even continue to develop things like anxiety in your kids. So take the time, put yourself first, reach out if you have friends and family who are parents. Remember, there's a stigma about reaching out and saying, I need help. We all know school just started. Maybe it's the, hey, do you want me to make up a pot of soup on the weekend to use for lunches? Or maybe it's the, how you doing with all the carpooling? And or reaching out and going, I cannot be in 4 places at once on Tuesday. Help.
That's great advice. Thank you so much, Dr. Janine Hubbard, for coming in and helping us get psyched on such an important matter. Thanks
Hang
again.
in there, everybody.
Hang in there.